So Sukihana was invited to the Video Music Awards, and she decided to drop down and bust it wide open on the red carpet. Let's go to Comedy Hype for the video.
When Sukihana arrived on the red carpet, she dropped to the floor and began twerking for pictures. Her social media caption attached to the video said, "First time at VMAs. They knew who I was when they invited me." Now, as soon as the video hit the internet, it received a mixed response, with some disgusted at her choice to drop to the floor, considering it a bad representation for Black women. Tariq Nasheed was one user who would take that side and said, "She is 100% correct. The white executives knew exactly what image they were trying to portray by inviting her." Another user on the opposite end would say, "All women will not be modest and reserved. They are not obligated to be. For every sukihana, there's an opposite version of her. So it's ridiculous that she's the default of representation of the Black woman's image." Now, one notable figure in particular who would speak out was deelishis, who was most known from the reality show Flavor of Love. deelishis would comment on the video, "Too many outdoor shoes been on the carpet, Buttercup." Of course, Sukihana didn't take too kindly to the comment and took the time to respond by writing, "Girl, you were sleeping with Flavor Flav. You ain't scared of nothing." D. Ray Davis and Mike Bless laughed at Sukihana's clap back. "Yo, flag on the play. Bringing up the Flav during the 50-year anniversary of hip-hop. She won, though. But still, this is the best comeback in comment history. I'm literally in tears." Now, after Sukihana's response, deelishis decided to apologize to Sukihana for her words, saying, "Not today, Satan. First off, let me start off by saying to Sukihana, I apologize if my comment upset or offended you. I should have said you too fine for that flow, which is much more precise way of describing what I thought when I saw the post, or even better, not comment at all. But unfortunately, I never thought my comment would be viewed as an insult. My people told me not to respond, but the new agenda is to put women at odds and have us hating each other for no good reason. I refuse to conform to that agenda. I believe if you offend someone publicly, you should be man or woman enough to apologize and correct your mistake publicly. My comment obviously felt like a judgment, and that wasn't cool. I'm a fan and an advocate for women. No harm was intended, Queen, and I wish you a blessed WCW, Buttercup."
I'm trying to put that buttercup on the end of that apology like you ain't mean it as a jab the first time you said it. You know what I'm saying? You just didn't think she was about to clap back like that. She almost clapped your wig off your head sitting at that computer screen. Did I know she did. No, your wig fell off when you read that. Well, look, I agree with the sentiment of what deelishis is trying to say. Like, we look at Sukihana and we want better for her, even though she does not realize that she's deserving of being better for herself. You dig what I'm saying? She in a place where she think all of this ratchetness is cool. And we get it. We've been young. We've been there. But people that are a little more advanced see her and be like, well, what are you doing for yourself? Like, we want better for you. We want you to come up out the gutter. You dig what I'm saying? And Monique has some words that Comedy Hype reflected on back in the day when she was talking about our women and the bonnets.
When it came to this issue, representation seems to be the big theme. Now, if you remember back in 2021, Monique received some backlash for suggesting women stop wearing bonnets and pajamas out in public, specifically at the airport. On this issue, Monique said, "When did we lose our pride in representing ourselves? When did we slip away of, let me make sure I'm presentable when I leave my home? I'm not saying you don't have pride, but the representation that you're showing someone will have to ask you to know if you have it. It's not to get a man. It is just your representation of you, my sweet babies."
And so that was Monique trying to correct a lot of our young Black women about the bonnets and not really caring about how they look when they go outside and having respect for themselves. And just like in this situation, a bunch of young women was mad at Monique for what she said. Don't nobody want to hear that. And listen, like Sukihana said, like, oh, deelishis, you talking? Or you slept with Flavor Flav. You ain't scared of nothing. Same could be said for Monique. Like, oh, Monique, how is it that you are talking about having respect for oneself or representing yourself in a certain way with the mouth that you got on you? You dig what I'm saying? Like, because she got a real foul mouth when it comes to certain things and being disrespectful. So a lot of people could say, who are you to tell somebody? But Listen, these people, although that is a great point to be made, these people are the ones that are qualified to tell us something. Why? Because they've been down this path. I'm sure at some point, Sukihana is going to mature and get to a place where she's going to try to tell some young girl, like, you're doing too much. Like, right? Because it all wears out at certain age. Like, you living young and wild and reckless and this, that, and other, it all gets old at some point. To where Sukihana, maybe she try to correct somebody out there doing their thing in the music business, but maybe she has a daughter. And then maybe she's going to try to tell her daughter, like, oh, baby, I don't want you twerking and doing all that. Like, why you got to be so nasty in your music? Why you got to be so this? Why you got to be so that? Do you got to wear that? There's going to be a point where Suki is going to want to correct somebody, and they're going to be like, look at what you did in your past. But listen, that ought to qualify her as someone to be able to tell you, like, yo, I've been down that path. It don't go well. It didn't serve me well. You dig what I'm saying? So this is part of the reason why I'm trying to correct you. So maybe you don't have to do this. It's the same thing when the dope boys try to tell the young fellas, like, yo, I did that. Hopefully so you don't have to do that. Like, I did 20 years for whatever crime I committed. I was selling dope and I got caught up. And you know what I'm saying? Thinking everybody real and they told on me. It's certain things that you can learn from people who've been down that path and learned that. And just to say, to defend Sukihana too, if she was performing, she would likely go into the VMAs and be doing the same thing on the stage, right? Like, to me, it's all ratchetness. I'm tired of it all, right? But I'm just saying, is it that out of place for the Video Music Awards? I could see if this was something like maybe a more high class event, but it's the Video Music Awards. Now, like I say, I equally thought it was ratchet, and I'm sick of Sukihana just like the rest of us. Like, I'm tired of the representation that people like her and Sexy Red is putting out there for black women. I'm also tired of the representation of people like, I don't know, NBA Youngboy, and, you know, these young rappers of today with the drill music and all that. I'm sick of the representation that these white folks is showing of us. But like Tariq Nasheed said earlier, yes, these white folk do know the executives, and it ain't just white folks. It's another community, other communities as well that are involved in this, but they know exactly what they're doing when they place these type of people at the forefront and keep letting them represent or be the representation for all black folk. They know exactly what they're doing, and we should be holding them accountable too. We're sick of this same representation of us, and I get it. We are all not a monolith. People love saying that to defend the ratchetness. Like, no, we're not all the same. We don't have to all be the same. Some of us can be wild and this, that, and that's all. It's all different shapes, sizes, and colors of us and representations of us, and that's cool. But I'm sick of this image as being the go-to image for us. And y'all got to admit, that is the thing that they keep pushing to describe black folk. But I am saying that, hey, we would have criticized her on the red carpet for twerking. But then if she was performing, she would have got in there on stage with the same dress, twerking and rolling around on the stage. Everybody would have been clapping and cheering, and it would have been nothing wrong with it. I mean, but I'm just saying me. I call it like I see it on both sides. I'm sick of the image of it, twerking on the red carpet, as well as I am sick of the image of her twerking on the stage. You know, there's really no difference to me. I'm sick of twerking being the only thing that it feels like our women think is any value to do. Right? I know that's a part of us, but is it the only part of us? You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't represent ourselves in some type of a better fashion. And so I know the messenger, sometimes like with Deelishis, it's the wrong messenger, right? Because she, you know, and people could say right now, she's still thirst trapping on Instagram to this day. So who are you to tell Sukihana anything about what she's doing. But I say this, as long as the message get through. I know sometimes we don't want to hear the message because of the messenger, but sometimes it be the most unexpected people, like be people that's living on the street, homeless. And if you stop and talk to them, they definitely got a message for you. If you want to stop and talk to them here, but most times we just breeze over them because they don't look like the proper person that could give us that message. But I'm telling you, it'd be the most unexpected people that have the best word for you sometimes. So stop and listen sometime. But it's your boy P Camp. Let me know what you think, what you don't think. Get at your boy.